back to my channel. And this week we're going to be switching it up a little. Yeah, I'm gonna really switch it up much, but somebody had commented last week video when I talked about my school. Somebody commented and asked me to compare studying in Ukraine and studying in Dominica. And I was like, that's a very good idea. So shout out to that person who commented. So today we're going to be discussing differences and similarities in Ukraine, living in Ukraine and living here in Dominica. First things first, I want to say a big thank you. I'm going to continuously share my gratitude to you, my viewers, my virtual support system, my virtual family, should I say, for supporting me and giving my videos that the views. Like, I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate your comments. Like, I appreciate the love. I feel it surrounds me, and it makes me feel like people are listening to me, and I want to give people that encouragement, or let them know that, listen, you can do it. And if you want to go to medical school, you can go to medical school. If you want to go to medical school, even if medical school may be expensive in your country where you're from, it doesn't even matter if you're from Jamaica, yes or no, wherever you're from. If it's too expensive, there are other alternatives. So never lose faith and never lose hope. Make sure, guys, you pray about it and make God lead you where you need to go. Okay, so thank you once again for the support. I really do appreciate it, and I really do love you guys for that. So thank you so much. And make sure you share this video, you like, you comment, you share, you subscribe. Yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend, share it with a friend to share it with a friend to share it with a next friend. Yeah, and yeah, let's get into it. Number one, traveling. Yeah, so because I didn't have a US visa, I traveled Jamaica to Panama to Amsterdam to Kiev, Ukraine. I didn't land in Kharkiv because my school where I was going to be living in Ukraine would have been in Kharkiv. I didn't land in Kharkiv, but I can tell it's more than one day travel. Now, traveling in the Caribbean, traveling from Jamaica to Dominica, even though when I look at the map, it's just right there, it took me almost the same amount of time to travel to Ukraine, which I find crazy. And I ended up staying in Trinidad for 12 hours for a layover. So when I traveled to Trinidad, when I stayed there for 12 hours, and then the following morning I flew to Dominica, which was crazy. Anyways, moving on to number two, reception into the country. So when I arrived in Ukraine, in Kiev, first of all, I was supposed to be picked up from the airport by my agent. I didn't know that his daughter was going to pick us up until maybe 2 days before I'm supposed to board the plane. Yeah. When I arrived, now keep in mind, I had to pay an agent fee when I arrived in Ukraine. I have to pay an agent fee to the girl father. The man sent him daughter, come pick me up. I was still there to give the girl money, separate and apart from our ticket money, to take the bus from the capital city to the city where we're going to be studying in Ukraine. So I didn't understand why I had to pay her if I was paying her father already to give me a service to help me in the country when I was there. Like, it really puzzled me, and it still puzzles me to this day why I had to give this girl money. Like, my friends were laughing in the airport like it funny, like when I said I never got girl no money because I don't pay her father. Why I can't take the money out of what I give and pay her? So that completely threw me off, and I did not like it. So yeah, I did really upset about that, and nobody never tell me about that. Anyways, when I arrived in but the good thing was, when we arrived, she was there. So it wasn't like she left us and abandoned us. No, she was there with us, and she was actually pretty cool. but I just did not understand why I had to pay her, and I was already paying her dad for his service. I really don't know. Anyways, arriving in Dominica, I did not pay anybody to pick me up at the airport. The school actually sent a bus to come and pick us up. Yeah, yeah. Talk about a difference. The school sent a bus to come and pick us up. And going into number 3, which is the apartment, renting, and utilities. Okay, so when I arrived in Ukraine, the man daughter pick me up, my agent, pick me up. She put up on bus. First of all, we'd have to sit down, come, we must miss the bus. Sit down and wait for the next bus. We'd have to give her money and give her money for the ticket. Separate. Go up on the bus, depend the bus for most about over 6 hours. Reaching a Kharkiv, the man come pick up at train station. When we reach, we'd have to go to a hotel. When we reach in Kharkiv, he carried us to a hotel. We stay in the hotel for about 3 nights, and the money when we pay him for agent fee never roll over into the hotel. So my parents had to give me money separate for this hotel. So constantly my parents have been giving me money before, because I had to be staying in a hotel. They have to pay him data, they have to buy a ticket, and this not included in the agent fee when they have to give. To this day, I'm still hurt about it. Now in Dominica, when you apply to the school, you get accepted. Then following that, they'll send you an email about housing, like what would you like your living conditions to be. Because Dominica is a compact island, it's not like a part of a continent like Ukraine. It's an island. You have to be more than likely sharing a house. So you get your bedroom and you share bathroom and you share a kitchen. So you had either an option of being by yourself or renting with roommates. I chose to rent with roommates because renting by myself would have costed too much money. Fortunately, my roommates are both Caribbean people. One is Jamaican and one is from Tobago. So I am very comfortable where I am because I am around people who are from the same region as me. So I like that. Number 4 is cost of living. No, I would have to give that to Ukraine, because in Ukraine I could survive on 100 US for the month. Groceries, leisure spending, anything I want to do, I still would have change. That is how cheap Ukraine was. And given the war, they will have inflation, but I don't think it will be as much as living in Dominica. Living in Dominica is very expensive, extremely expensive. Caribbean islands in general are expensive, but I don't know what's going on here. Like some different things are going here. So yeah. Next is transportation. I would have to, equally both countries are somewhat good in transportation. The only reason why I'd give Ukraine the edge in transportation is because Ukraine is much bigger, and Ukraine has like an underground train system which they can where we would go in at the islands, where the train would go under the sea, where we are gonna go under the sea with Ariel and Sebastian, and that's where we're gonna go. Like, that is virtually impossible here in the Caribbean. So obviously Ukraine has the better transport system. They have trains, they have buses, they have trams, they have Uber, you have everything over there. And over here you have like minibus. That is their form of transportation, minibus and taxis. So those who are from Jamaica, or those are from, every country must have some kind of minibus system. Maybe not the US, but most other countries have like a minibus. In Dominica, that's what they use, minibus. That's their bus. In Jamaica, you have big old JUTC air small little minibus, which is good. It's a good, and there are plenty. You're not gonna stand up and wait long for no bus over here, which is what I love. I love that over here. You're not sit down and wait long for bus, which is good. Okay. Number 5. Chant. We just talk about transportation. Okay. Number 6. Education at university. So in Ukraine, you have lectures and practicals. Just like how at UE, you have tutorials and lectures. Them call it practical. So your practical class, you have to go. That is a minimum of 16 people. And you sit down in the class, you maybe combine with another group. Sit down, your teacher talk, you listen, you get almost an hour for prepare, then you do your test, and then you go away. That's it. Here, it's a bit different. You have to come to classes. There is no lecture per se. So there's no lecture different from practical. You come your class is an hour and 50 minutes. Sit down in your class, listen to your teacher, take down your notes. That is it. Like, there's no lectures that is different, that you go and you get a repeat of the same topic that you did. There's none of that here. Exams. I think I should talk about that. So in Ukraine, exams are done orally 98% of the time. Your test, exam, classwork, orals. You sit down in front of your teacher calling him one by one. You sit down in the chair at the teacher's desk beside the teacher. You turn around and the teacher said, name the bones of the skull. And you sit down and you name all of the bones of the skull. And them ask you a couple more questions and you get your grade. Here, it's not like that. You get quizzes and you get tests. And everything is online based. You get any papers. You don't sit down in front of a teacher and the teacher asks you questions. You don't get a list of questions where you sit down and you have to read. And then you think of your answers. And then you go to your teacher, you sit down and you answer the list of questions on the paper. You don't do that here. You do online tests and online quizzes on a system called Canvas. In Ukraine, they use Moodle to administer quizzes and classwork and tests if the teacher don't want to give you any orals, because some teachers don't give orals. Some teachers just make you go on Moodle and do the test, which is kind of similar. But I do like how Ukraine they do their form of testing, because it's less, there's less possibility of a student doing something that they should not be doing. You get me? Yeah. Because if you're sitting down with a teacher in front of the teacher face and you're doing an oral, there's no way that you can do something and the teacher wouldn't see you do it. Simple. Right? Okay. So number 7, extracurricular activities. In Ukraine, you could swim, you could go to the gym, you could go tennis, you could go frisbee. We know people with the frisbee. You could do anything, really and truly. Because there's a wider variety of things. Gymnastics, yoga, karate, anything. I think you can do the same thing here, but it's a bit more limited, because as I said before, it's an island, it's more compact, so you may not can do the same things that you can do in Ukraine. So both countries, it all depends on what you are used to and what you like. That's it. So I can't really give any country the upper hand in extracurricular activities. I mean, when you're on an island, you can go to the beach, you can go hiking up the mountains because the mountains are so close. You can go to a falls, you can go to the river. Like, there is so much to do in nature on an island compared to in a country on a big landmass continent, limited beach space. The most you can do is mainly sightseeing of historical buildings and sites, which is good, but I think the islands, you can't really beat an island in terms of what they offer in their natural beauty compared to man-made physical structures in historical buildings, which historical buildings are cool, but I don't think, well, it all depends on your niche. If you like old things, you like them, but I don't think anything trumps an island. Nothing beats an island with beaches and whatever. So, okay, number 8. Affordability to traveling within the region. So, in Ukraine, because you're already in Europe, it's very easy for you to travel country to country because you're on the same continent. Like, you're not across no water nor nothing, a landmass you across. So, I could go to Germany, I could go to Poland, I could take a train to Poland, a bus to Poland, a plane to Poland. We can take bus, train, plane. More variety, more modes of transportation to get to other countries in Ukraine than here. The only way you can get to countries is 2 ways: by ferry or by plane. No other way. And it is much cheaper to travel in Europe than to travel in the Caribbean. So Europe, very, very cheap. And you can go to islands in Europe that have the same climate as islands in the Caribbean. You can go to Cyprus. Cyprus is a very good island. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Okay, next one. Number 9, weather and climate. See, oh, me I make it everything I lead into. Yeah. Number 9, weather and climate. I do love the heat and I do love the sun, but sometimes it's a bit too much. It's a little bit too much, the heat. Like, we get it bad down here. Even in Jamaica, the heat is very bad. I think islands experience climate change the worst compared to other countries. Like, yeah, nobody can argue with me about that. We experience it way worse than anybody else. In Ukraine, you have your 4 seasons: autumn, spring, summer, winter. You have all your seasons then. Over here, you have weather conditions. There is no autumn, spring, winter, fall, nothing. Weather conditions. So it's either rainy weather, sunny weather, cloudy weather, or windy weather. I loved when the seasons were transitioning. It's like, wow, it's a new dawn, it's a new day. Like, oh my god, I loved it. There, Jesus. Rain a fall, your water cut off, breeze blow too hard. Like, it's not all rainbows and peaches, over here. But I do like the changing seasons, so I would give it to Ukraine with the changing seasons, because we don't experience that here and it's nice to experience it. Number 10, which is the final one, which is I'm going to be talking about safety. So, yes, if I was comparing Jamaica to Ukraine, I would definitely give Ukraine number 1 in safety compared to Jamaica. But you see, because when I compare Dominica to Ukraine, I'd give them both equal shares in safety. Yeah, I would. Because even though I wouldn't try it here in the island, but in Ukraine, I used to walk to my friend's house at like midnight. We used to do it, no problem, nothing. Take taxi after midnight, we do it. So when we stay too late at my friend's house and I want to go home, we take a taxi and I never felt threatened. I never felt like I was going to be taken away. I never felt like, oh my god, I can't trust this person, my heart is in my throat. I've never felt that way in Ukraine. But here, I've never had that experience where I had to take a taxi so late, because I've never gonna try that. Because I know over here so different from over there. So even though you have mad people in a Ukraine, just like how you have mad people at Dominica and mad people at Jamaica, mad people everywhere. So you can't really trust people and how them stay. But I've never felt threatened in such a way where I'm scared to take a taxi by myself late at night, leaving from my friend's house to my house when I was in Ukraine. But here in Dominica, I probably would not try it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. And yeah, So overall, I think both countries have a lot to offer. I wish everybody could experience Ukraine in some way, shape, or form. Like, I wish everybody could like go there and see the place for what it is and understand some more about the culture, because it is a beautiful country with a lot to offer, with very beautiful, nice people. I and Dominica is the same. Dominica is such a beautiful country. It is so peaceful too. I do feel like this is a second home because it is very similar to Jamaica. So I don't really feel like I have to do much assimilation to the culture, because it's already a Caribbean island, and there is difference in culture, but there isn't a difference where I completely have a culture shock when I have to just and get used to it. I not have to do that here because it's very similar to Jamaica. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for bearing with me for this long and listening to me speak. I tend to ramble and go off on a tangent. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys. Comment below on anything else that you want me to speak about, anything that you want me to cover, and I will try my best to do it, because I do like when you guys give me suggestions. So thank you so much guys for watching again. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah, and thank you. Bye.